Welcome to the Caffeinated Christian Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Willard. I'm sitting here with Pastor Mike Rigglesworth. And of course, we got your favorite person, Bradley, the man with no last name, over on the board. How are you guys doing today?
Good. Doing well.
Yeah, doing pretty good.
Yeah, just good?
Yeah, just good.
Anything exciting?
I'm ready for vacation.
Yeah,
I'm ready for vacation.
I'm ready for this Buffalo weather to just stop hating me. Mm-hmm. It's just...
Yeah, it
so
is
annoying.
cold outside.
People have requested to bring the warm weather back with me when I come back into Buffalo
Yeah, could you
next
do
week.
that?
I will try hard.
I
will try to bottle the warmth.
About this.
Bottle the warmth.
Well, you're a pastor. You have some like type of sorcery that you can
Obviously.
use, right?
Yeah, pastoral sorcery.
Okay.
Of course.
All right, please use
Yep.
that.
Brutal. But we have a conversation just among us in here. So it's a roundtable discussion at a square table. But before we get into the topic, which I'll toss over to Mike for, let us just do a quick shout out to the coffee that we are drinking today. There it is. We are drinking Unique Coffee. And Unique Coffee is located in Staten Island. Now, I don't have much information on them because I just got it in and I brought it immediately. But we are tasting the French vanilla flavor from them.
Mm-hmm.
What do
Is
you
it
guys
French
think about
toast, right?
Sorry, French
French
toast.
toast.
I have French vanilla creamer. I completely mixed that up. So
It pairs well.
it pairs well. It's almost like French toast with the little, what's that drizzle that they put on top? The
Maple syrup?
Maple syrup.
not maple syrup. What's that? Like frosting.
I only ever put maple syrup.
Almost like frosting. You've never had like a French toast with like frosting on it?
Oh, yeah, well, like powder sugar?
Something like that. But
never-
like a cinnamon roll frosting.
Oh, yep.
No, never.
No, you've never done that in
I've
French
only
toast?
ever done maple syrup or blueberries in the French toast.
No, I've done like the cinnamon bun frosting.
Chocolate
French
chips.
toast.
Oh,
Yep.
that's too
good.
much.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
It's really good. But
The cream cheese in between, you know. Oh, man.
I
We're gonna
don't
get
like
off topic
berries.
here.
I'm sorry. Like,
You don't like berries?
I think when people try to do healthy things with their French toast, just get it out of here.
No. Like you make it into like a sugar syrup. Like you make it like really thick and like
Yeah, if you're gonna
you know,
make
just add
the
a ton of
berries
sugar.
not healthy, I'm all for it.
Now, if
you're
you
trying to make
mix in bananas with the eggs, make banana French toast. I enjoy that.
So
Quite good.
there's
I've never
something
had
I
that
had
either.
when I was in Ohio. They put a little ricotta in the pancake and French toast, and it made it like the fluffiest.
It's really good.
It's really,
And
and it doesn't mess
pancakes.
with the flavor of
Yep.
the French
Man.
toast. It's very interesting.
Getting hungry.
I know. But we are drinking Unique Coffee. You can check them out at uniquecoffeeroasters.com. And we are drinking the French toast. It's fantastic. So I'm going to toss it over to Mike for the round table discussion around a square table. So, Mike, throwing it over to you.
Yeah. So it's no surprise that this past week. Now it's going to be, I think, a few weeks that of this recording that this is actually going to air. But as of this recording, it's been what 4 days
something like that? Yeah.
since Russia officially invaded the Ukraine.
Yeah, it's been like 5 days.
Yeah, been 4 or 5 days, something along those lines. And, you know, I saw the notifications on my phone, and like everybody else, there's that thought in the back of my head, like, is this the start of World War III? Like, you know, there's that initial thought, there's that initial anxiety. Now, I thought it was important that we take some time to talk about this on the podcast, not to relay necessarily any new information, although we might talk about some information that's new to people. But I think with the platform we have, it's important that we address these issues and shine light on what's going on in this event that is, you know, has global implications.
Right.
So it's not just isolated to Russia and Ukraine. It's affecting the entire world in some way, shape, or form. So I wanted to just allow our listeners just a little bit of time to hear from us what we're thinking, what we're going through, how we're processing this, and just let them know they're not alone.
Right.
So, yeah. And so 2 questions that I want to consider today. It's a question that I'm sure those listeners that are tuning into the podcast right now who are followers of Jesus, that perhaps their agnostic or atheistic friends are asking them, is where is your God in the middle of this? Right? So that's a huge question, and we don't nearly have enough time to address that in the block of time that we're going to be talking about it. But I did want to at least address it. And then the second question is, what is the proper response to this current crisis? So I want to open that question up to you guys. with all the violence and the bloodshed, all the unnecessary death that's happening between Ukraine and Russia right now, where's God in this?
Yeah, so I think this, as we all would agree, isn't a new question, right? This theodicy problem of the pain and suffering in this world in relation to God's existence and God's sovereignty and God's love and all of these certain attributes that we find within the nature of God. Like, what is happening at this point? So I think I did talk of this. I think this was one of the first talks we did, or we tried to do for the podcast, and then the technology was just terrible.
Oh yeah,
it was.
Yeah,
We recorded it though.
Did we?
Yes, we did.
Oh, okay.
There's an episode about it.
So I think there's multiple levels that you can look at this. You can look at this at the sort of the theological level. There's this philosophical level, and then there's like an emotional level, right?
Right.
And some of these, within each level, there's like a pastoral level, like friendship. How do we communicate with different roles we play within the Christian community and having the Christian worldview? So typically, one of the first things we like to talk about, and it's not really the first thing I go to, is the logical problem of evil, where there has not been presented an argument to show it's irrational to believe in God and the way the Christian worldview understands God with relation to evil being in the world. It's just not a problem logically, right? The problem comes when you put yourself in the shoes of those people over there.
Exactly.
And how do we deal with that situation? And I think that's the harder thing to deal with. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I agree. It's one thing to talk about this on a theological level or a philosophical level, but when your son or your daughter or your father or your mother is getting gunned down in cold blood, that is a totally different question, you know. And I come back to just there's a few examples in Scripture that I think are really powerful to me, and they don't relate exactly to war, but they do connect with this theme of suffering. And it's in Matthew 14 when John the Baptist is in prison and he sends his disciples to Jesus. And his disciples, John's disciples, are asking Jesus, are you the one who is to come, or should we expect somebody else?
Yeah.
And then Jesus goes on to explain to the disciples, to relate to John the Baptist, here are all the things that I'm doing for everybody else. But I'm not busting you out of prison.
Right.
I'm not changing your circumstances. I'm not doing any of that stuff. And that's a hard pill for us to swallow, because we will endure suffering that doesn't make sense. Yeah. We shouldn't have to. On this side of eternity, it's not going to make sense. Jesus even says in John, I believe it's John 15, where he says to his disciples, in this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. And I just come back to this larger theme of, you know, the fact that Jesus, God incarnate, shows solidarity with us by suffering with us.
Right.
He's the suffering servant. He died on the cross. He died a brutal, undeserved death. So Jesus shows solidarity with us by choosing to suffer.
Even on the cross, they said, you're made all these claims, you've done all these things, you've saved all these other people, and or you're making these salvation claims. Like, why in the world don't you just get off there yourself? Like, save yourself. Yeah. Right. And even to achieve salvation, there are some things he just couldn't step in and not do. Like, he stepped in to take the punishment. Yeah. But it's not like he could step in and not take the punishment. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because there was this just dessert that needed to be had, and he still needed to go through it in order to redeem his people. And it's not like he can just like come off and be, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're right. Like, you know what? Watch this. Something still, like, justification still needed to be attained.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that required him to go through that.
Right.
And so even within this fallen world, it just sometimes, to achieve his ultimate goal, sometimes it might require some things that he would even look at and go, like, one day, like, I'll remember all these things, type things.
Yeah. How about you, Bradley? What are your thoughts?
So as far as the problem of evil goes, that's not something I can really answer. But I can see how God is working in it.
Interesting. Okay.
So one positive thing that I've noticed throughout this, the war that's going or beginning to start happening is, it's not so much in like the Ukraine sphere, but it is in like the rest of the world, is that it seems like the church is more united now because of this. Like it, for the past however many years, 4 or 5 years, it seems like the church and even rest of society has been at odds with each other. And it's been, we can't unite over anything. We can't, we don't have any like common like beliefs. And it seems like across the board, the common belief is that this war is bad.
Yeah.
And there are some people that have extreme views either way about the war or anything like that involves the war. But it seems like for the most part, people can unite and talk to one another and really get close with each other in the common belief that the war is bad.
Right. We can all at least agree that innocent life should not be killed.
Exactly.
For this.
Right.
Right.
And something that I think, that's really helpful in terms of our country and like the difference in ideology.
Yeah.
But I think it's also something really helpful in the church because that kind of ideology has steeped into the church for the last however many years. And there's like churches that they won't agree with each other because they have different ideologies. And I feel like this is something that we can unite as a church and just say, hey, we need to pray for this. And so it's putting our differences aside and realizing, hey, we're all just people. We're all God's children. And we can make a difference if we unite and pray.
Yeah. Yeah. And looking at this larger question of like you said, Ryan, theodicy, like why does bad stuff happen? Why does evil exist in the world? And we can't answer that question. At the end of the day, like we're not in a position where we can speak for God. Only God can fully answer that question. But one of the things I think we can kind of draw from Scripture, where I think in Romans and elsewhere, Paul talks about God being patient. He talks about him being forbearing. And if God is infinitely, if he's patient with you and with me and the sins we commit, I mean, it's hard for me to think about, but is he also patient with the people that are responsible for starting this war, which God doesn't single those people out. Now, he will render just punishment on evil and people who commit evil, but is he also patient, hoping that they'll come to repentance too?
Right.
So part of the reason why we continue to see evil in our world today is because we have a God who's patient, not because we have a God that's apathetic or distant or uncaring. He's patient. And that's hard because a lot of the suffering that we see in our world today is self-inflicted. Like we either do it to ourselves or it's done to us by somebody. And that's a hard thing for us to wrap our minds around, especially since we like to, we tend to like to blame other people for our problems, our issues.
Yeah.
But with Ukraine, I would agree with Bradley. One of the positive things we've seen come through this is that I've seen a lot less bickering and clamoring among people on social media. There's been pretty much a united front about standing with Ukraine, praying for Ukraine, giving them the support that they need. And now I want to push back on something that has been, I've actually listened to people say these exact words, that Putin is crazy. Now, I do not think Putin is crazy at all.
I would agree. I don't think.
And you're thinking like, when I hear crazy, like some psychological disorder where he needs to be.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
He's out of his mind.
Locked up.
Yeah,
No,
literally.
No, I think he's one of the smartest minds.
Well, he was for a few decades a KGB.
Yeah.
One of the heads of section of KGB. He's a brilliant strategist when it comes to certain things.
Oh, yeah. And I just wanted to share this one real quick thing, and then we can all kind of talk about this here. But I think it's important for us to realize this, that we have the right information when we're talking about these leaders that are kind of pulling the levers here and making the decisions that are affecting so many different people.
Yeah.
like we said, I don't think Putin is crazy, and there's some things that I don't think we fully understand about Putin's relationship to the church in Russia. Good pastor in the Buffalo area, a friend, Dan Trippi, he wrote an interesting article on this, and he deals a lot with politics. He has his PhD, and
It is interesting because I've heard on certain news sites and podcasts they're talking about like, well, he's a Christian, and I go, whoa. Well, let's clarify these terms first. What do we mean by these?
What are we talking about? Like, you can't paint all Christians with that brush.
With Putin.
Yeah,
Right.
no. So there's a lot of outlets, a lot of news outlets that are reporting that Putin is either mad or just out of his mind. Like the New York Times said, it's angry paranoia that he's functioning with. I don't think that's the case at all. No. What's interesting and this is from Dan Trippi's article, just so we get the source. In 1999, after Boris Yeltsin resigned, Putin went to the head of the Russian Orthodox Church and asked for the church's blessing to serve as the temporary leader. That's how this started. Since then, the formal and informal ties have been woven between the Russian Orthodox Church and the Kremlin.
Yeah.
All right? So you got to think about that politics and religion are deeply interlocked in Russia right now.
Oh yeah.
And this is important for us to think about in the United States because there is more and more, not officially, but there is an interlocking between politics and religion in the United States now. So I think we need to consider that and be aware of that this is what's been going on in Russia for the last 20 plus years. So essentially, the article is saying that Putin isn't angry, paranoid, out of his mind. Putin is theologically deceived. He's incredibly brilliant. He's smart. He's ruthless. But he thinks he's doing the Lord's work, which makes him all the more dangerous.
Yeah.
Because you know who else thought he was doing the Lord's work, and you know who else called himself a Christian? Hitler. Hitler did.
Yeah.
And look what he did to the Jewish people. So there's all sorts of evil and despicable things that can be done in the name of God when we don't have a proper understanding of what it means to be a follower of Jesus.
Right.
But again, this is a world leader that's claiming Christ, and he's doing God's work.
Well, it's like the Pharisees and Sadducees.
Yeah.
They did the same thing. They thought they were claiming the Lord's work, and we found out from Christ that that's not even close to being the case.
Right. Right.
Well, I shouldn't say not even close, but they struggled understanding the intent of what God has been doing. So
Yeah, and I mean, Putin's not the first monarch to claim Christian values, and do despicable things. I mean, there's been countless ones. Like you just mentioned, Hitler was one of those ones, but there's been throughout history, like a lot of the English kings
Catholic Church, all different types of churches.
Crusades.
Yeah.
There's been countless.
Nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, nothing new under the sun. Exactly. But
There's a well-known king that had a translation written for him.
Yeah, interesting.
We still read that.
Yeah.
Was his name Jimmy?
Something like that. Yeah.
AKA.
I'm not knocking anybody that reads the King James Bible, but I'm just saying that's where it has its roots.
No, but I agree with you on Putin definitely being very smart. I mean, hey, he's been in the Russian politics for what, 20 years?
Yeah,
30 years at this point.
And he's not
honestly, the life expectancy in Russian politics is like 5 years, and he's been doing it for 20 years. So that alone should tell you how smart he is.
Yeah.
But I mean, one thing that we could hope to, like with that information, one thing that we can hope to do is maybe pray that when he's reading his Bible, if he does that, to hopefully understand where he's wrong and have like God lay in a conviction on him that he can't pass up. Just like a burning conviction.
Yeah. And I hope that just like the kings in Israel that had prophets that can speak to them and correct their wrongs, that there's somebody in the Russian Orthodox Church that loves Jesus and loves the Russian people and the Ukrainian people that can speak into this man's, to his decisions. That's my hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, Yeah, it's tough. But we're obviously we're praying for the people in Ukraine, and I want to remind our listeners that we have brothers and sisters in Ukraine right now that are deeply impacted by what's going on.
I mean, we have a lot of Ukrainian listeners. Even I was looking up the other day because I was curious, and we have about 20 regular listeners from
That's great.
Ukraine that are in the how do you say the capital city, Kiev?
Kiev.
Yeah. Like right now, they're right there.
Jeez.
Well,
So I mean, just for like context, there, like I mean, and I, my family is from Poland, and they're from the part of Poland that borders up to Ukraine.
Huh.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it affects everybody more than you think it would.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I want to say this too, that we have, so we obviously have Ukrainian listeners, which is awesome. I didn't know we had that many listeners in the Ukraine. I want them to know that we are praying for you, and we want to know how we can best help and support and encourage you guys, because we want to do that in any way we can. Not just saying like thoughts and prayers. We're doing that.
Yeah.
But like how can we from where we are help you? Right? That's what we really want to know, especially believers right now. I know there are pastors, there are missionaries who have just by default adopted children into their family because their parents got gunned down.
Yeah.
And that I can't imagine. I can't imagine having to deal with that and to be at the center of all of it. But I do think as Christians, we have the responsibility to be actively praying for people in the Ukraine, praying for believers in the Ukraine. In our church this past Sunday, we took time out of our service to break out into groups just for maybe about 4 or 5 minutes to pray for everybody that's involved and it's at the center of this. And we have several missionaries that we support as a church. Centerpoint's not a huge church; it's about 100 to 120 people on any given Sunday. But we like to support global missions. We see that as part of our mandate to go and make disciples of all nations, and that's part of it. But we have a missionary couple that we support, and the wife, for many years, she was a missionary in the Ukraine with her family, and her family is still there. And she's regularly getting updates from people that she's built relationships with, and she's calling on anybody with a platform, anybody with a pulpit to say, this is what's going on, this is what's happening. I know like people are like, we need to remain neutral and all those types of things, but this is not, when it comes to life being senselessly taken, there's nothing neutral about that. Like you need to take a stand on that.
Yeah.
And so we want to say very, very clearly that like we are against what Russia is doing.
100%.
And because so many innocent lives have been lost already.
So many things.
And there is, I think, I don't know what the numbers are up to now, but it's well over, I think, 150,000 refugees from Ukraine. Some are now relocating to New York, some to Buffalo.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of them have gone to Poland and other neighboring countries as refugees, but people are now displaced from their homes, from like their life, what they knew, everything. So, and that brings us to my final question. Besides praying, what are some things that we can be doing as believers? Let's just talk a little bit about that.
Do you mind if I go first? I got a couple of solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think for different countries, I think it may be a little bit different of what you can do, simply because of where we're located, and we can't travel to Europe and the United States still because of COVID restrictions. So I think that it's a little bit different on where you might live. If you're closer, maybe you can help with the refugee camps, maybe stuff like that. I don't know what you can and can't do. But in the United States and like Canada especially, I think that two of the big things that we can do is stop going on social media. I think that's the biggest thing that you can do. If you're worried about World War III, or you're worried about what's going to happen next, you're constantly on your phone looking for updates.
Doom scrolling.
Doom scrolling.
So that's called
yeah.
Yeah.
It's what everybody was doing when the shutdown happened 2 years ago.
doom scrolling. That's funny.
Like posting on social media about like, oh, like I stand with Ukraine and stuff like that. Like that's great that you stand with them, but at this point, like that doesn't help anybody. The best thing you can do is get off the phone, take a breath of fresh air, and thank God for the blessings that we have in this country and that we're not at war, and then pray for those that are. So I think that's the first thing that you can probably do. The second thing that I think you can do is to try and reach people around you, because as I said before, people are more united at this time. So find your non-Christian friends that are around you, and think about what they're going through. Like, they don't have the hope in God that we do. So I think that going up to them and being encouraging in this time, and also showing that you have a hope that surpasses knowledge and understanding, and kind of just coming alongside them and trying to reach them at this time, because like we haven't had this opportunity to like, hey, I have different beliefs than you. Like, let's talk. Like that doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
And we have this big opportunity. And it sucks that it's happening over such a tragic circumstance, but we do have the opportunity nonetheless. So I think it's important to definitely pay attention to what's going on in Ukraine and to pray for them and everything that we can do. But to not forget what you have around you.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I can do, in addition to that, is offer some theological hope,
Right.
that we find. And it's tough because I'm not in your shoes. I'm not running for my lives. I'm not hearing gunshots fly by my ears. I'm not sitting in a subway as a bomb shelter because he wants to escalate for no apparent reason that I have nukes. That's I have a lot of thoughts that I won't say on the podcast about certain things in economics and stuff. Yeah. My degree is in economics, so
Right.
But I will say this. We do know that there is something coming for us that, in a sense, should bring us joy and, in a sense, victory, right? Where Paul talks about this a few times, and we see in Romans 2, specifically in verse 16, when he talks about the gospel. I talked about this the other night, where part of the good news is that God is going to call everyone from what they said, thought, even in the secret places.
Right.
And they're going to stand before him, and he's going to judge them. And those who are his have a sense of hope of, this stinks, but even if I'm taken right now, I am innocent in front of him because of Christ.
Right.
And we also read in Revelations where the saints look down, asking God, like in a sense, asking God, when are you going to go judge the world?
Right.
Like, where is your judgment? And he says it's coming. And so we do know that God will hold everyone to account for what they've done. And it's going to be far worse than what our fill-in-the-blank leaders of any country will and can do to Russia at this point. And so we have a better ruler, we have a better king, we have a better judge on our side. And one day we'll stand next to him going, yep. I'm innocent. You know what I mean?
And I think in the meantime, we have to be very careful. It's okay for us to ask God why in those moments of pain and suffering, and to cry out to him in those moments, but to not sit in the judgment seat and put God on trial.
Correct.
I think that's when we get into the danger zone. So,
we should always pray for them, but also realize, man, the king is on my side. And he will one day rule with an iron scepter.
Right.
So
and I do want to close with the scripture from Colossians in a moment, but I did want to speak to that and give our listeners an opportunity to do something actionable. Like, we should pray. We shouldn't be on social media too much, because that can lead to some pretty bad things,
Listen
obviously.
to scholars on this. Don't listen to your celebrities that like to post things.
Correct.
Yeah, Cardi B is not a scholar.
Just because they have a platform and a lot of viewers does not mean that they are a credible source on this issue.
No.
Okay?
Run from them.
Yes. And just take it from us. And like we're saying that as people that are not credible sources on this.
Right.
But I will say this, that the husband and wife team that I mentioned earlier, her name is Bria Blessing. She's on Instagram and she's regularly posting. And she posts practical ways that you can get involved and do stuff. One thing that we can do is you can go to Samaritan's Purse and give to the Ukrainian Relief Fund. So like money talks.
Yeah.
Money talks.
Help
So,
rebuild, help healthcare, whatever they have over there.
Yep. You can, you could, obviously if you go to Instagram and you go to Bria Blessing, you look for that person. Blessing.
Can you spell it out?
BRIA and then Blessing. It's spelled exactly like it sounds.
Okay.
Like the word blessing. And she is regularly posting updates and practical ways that you can really get involved. There's also, writing to your House of Representatives, writing to the Senate, and doing those types of things. And then obviously, like you could share the stuff that she posts because it's credible. It's not just, again, like Cardi B posting something. It's somebody who's actually talking to people at the ground level of what's happening right now in the Ukraine. And then obviously, like we pray. And any time, like, and I agree with Bradley in the sense that we shouldn't just like look at any and every article about what could happen moving forward because we don't know the future. Only God knows the future.
Yeah.
But I think we can and we should, if there's somebody from the Ukraine that's posting something that showcases like all that's going on right now. Like if we can spread that amongst social media and have it go viral, that can be helpful.
That's different than what I was referring to. What I was referring to was like the types of people that are posting like, hashtag anti-war.
Right.
And they're trying to be virtuous without having virtue.
Like,
yeah.
You're not helping by posting that. You're not like, or I hate the ones that are like this photo to support Ukraine. Keep scrolling to support Russia because it's like an ultimatum. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, how is this convincing Putin to stop?
Right.
Like, oh my gosh, I got 20,000 there.
It's the equivalent of like when you see the picture of Jesus and the devil arm wrestling. It says like, keep scrolling if you like the devil.
Yeah.
And or love this if you love Jesus.
Greg with 36 followers has Putin as his check mark following him. Yeah. Congratulations, Greg. Stop posting those things.
And I will say credit.
No one cares.
Credit to Instagram and to Facebook and to, I believe, YouTube as well. They have shut down accounts of the Russian government.
Yeah,
they've suspended all the posting that they can do. So
there's a bunch of Ukrainian like surveillance cameras that are streaming on YouTube. Like they're open to the public to watch, but if you have an IP address that's in Russia, you can't watch it.
Right.
So they're helping the rest of the world see what's going on in live time, but it's also helping the Ukrainian government like see what's going on. But Russia can't see anything. So it's YouTube, and I usually dislike YouTube quite a bit, but they are doing a great job.
Yeah. Now, the one thing to keep in mind for those of you who like Netflix will be forced, according to their contract with Russia, to play Russian propaganda on Netflix in Russia. Yep.
What?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
I didn't hear about this.
Well, it's going up to $15 a month, so we might just not.
I might just cancel my
I'm like
account.
$15 a month for like 2 shows I watch.
Based on what I know right now, Netflix in Russia, not in the U.S. obviously, but Netflix in Russia will be playing Russian propaganda, which is kind of lame.
Yeah.
I feel like they should be taking some type of stance on this.
Yeah. Interesting.
But anyway, do you guys have any closing thoughts before we wrap up our time here?
No, I think
I'm good.
I think we said it all.
All
We're
right.
praying for you guys, and we're even if we can't be there, we're on your side.
Netflix literally 38 minutes ago, Netflix has declined to carry Russian propaganda.
Good. I'm glad I was wrong on that, Bradley.
Good. Netflix, I still probably will not have you because it's $15 a month.
It's too expensive for me.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're monitoring this situation, and as we get more information, and if it warrants it, we will dedicate some more attention to this topic and other things surrounding it. But until next time, we look forward to the next episode, and we want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Caffeinated Christian Podcast. We want you to know that we rely on your support for this, so be sure to like and subscribe wherever it is you get your podcasts. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at the Caffeinated Christian Podcast. If you guys have any suggested episode ideas, anything like that you would like to share with us, guests that you want us to bring on, we can see what we can do.
Yeah.
You could email us at thecaffeinatedchristian706@gmail.com. All right, guys. Until next time, have a great day.